Daniel Jeffery Henderson, is an American mixed martial artist and former Olympic wrestler, who competes as a middleweight and light heavyweight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He was the last Strikeforce Light Heavyweight Champion and was the last welterweight 183 lb and middleweight 205 lb champion of Prix Fighting Championships. He was the only mixed martial artist to concurrently hold 2 titles in 2 different weight classes in a major MMA promotion. Henderson is also the UFC 17 Middleweight Tournament Winner, the 1997 Brazil Open Lightweight Tournament Champion, the Rings King of Kings 1999 Tournament Winner, and the 2005 Pride Welterweight Grand Prix Champion. As of September 29, 2014, Henderson is number 8 in official UFC light heavyweight rankings. Background: Dan Henderson was born in Downey, California and grew up in Apple Valley, California. He attended Victor Valley High School in Victorville, California, and earned medals at the California State Wrestling Championships in 1987 and 1988. He was a member of the 1987 Victor Valley High School wrestling team state champions. Henderson went on to wrestle at both Cal State Fullerton and Arizona State University, participating in the 1993 NCAA Championships. He represented the United States in the 1992 and 1996 Summer Olympics in Greco-Roman wrestling. Mixed martial arts career: he began training in mixed martial arts in 1997, when he joined the Real American Wrestling Team. Early career and Ultimate Fighting Championship: in his first year of MMA competition, Henderson won the Brazil Open, a 4-man heavyweight tournament. Just 1 year later, he won the UFC 17 tournament, defeating Alan Goes and Carlos Newton. In his next MMA fights, Henderson competed in an open weight tournament, facing heavyweights for the first time in his professional career. The tournament consisted of notable competitors such as Renzo Gracie, Jeremy Horn, Valentin Overeem, Alistair Overeem and former UFC heavyweight champion Maurice Smith. Henderson defeated 5 opponents over the course of 2 events to claim the 1999 Rings King of Kings title. He won 2 fights on October 28, 1999 in Tokyo, Japan, to qualify for the finals, and then beat Gilbert Yvel, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira and Renato Sobral on the evening of February 26, 2000, to win the tournament. Pride Fighting Championships: Henderson later began competing in Pride Fighting Championships, fighting primarily in the middleweight division. In Pride, Henderson competed against many of the sport's elite fighters, including Wanderlei Silva, Renzo Gracie, Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Ricardo Arona, Murilo Rua, Murilo Bustamante, Yuki Kondo, Ryokunin and Akira Gono. When Pride began its Bushido brand, Henderson won their first welterweight 183 lb tournament, defeating Ryokunin and Akira Gono by knockout, and then defeating Bustamante by split decision in the finals to capture the welterweight title. At Pride Bushido 10, Henderson defeated Kazuo Misaki by unanimous decision after hurting him with strikes on numerous occasions. Henderson later entered the second Pride Welterweight Grand Prix, losing by decision in a rematch with Misaki. Henderson's final Pride bout was a rematch with Wanderlei Silva at Pride 33 in Las Vegas, Nevada on February 24, 2007, where he scored a knockout victory to become middleweight champion, while still holding his welterweight title. Henderson became the first fighter to simultaneously hold titles in 2 different weight classes in a major MMA organization. UFC return: on September 8, 2007, Henderson returned to the UFC to face light heavyweight champion Quinton Rampage Jackson at UFC 75 in London, England. In a closely contested fight that saw Henderson impose his will early, Jackson controlled the later rounds and won a 5-round unanimous decision to retain his title and gain the Pride middleweight title. On November 17, 2007, it was announced during the post-fight at UFC 78 that Henderson would fight UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva to unify the Pride welterweight and UFC middleweight championships. UFC 82 took place on March 1, 2008 and was held at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Despite winning the first round, Henderson lost via submission at 4:52 of the second round by rear naked choke. Henderson bounced back from his inauspicious start in the UFC with a victory over Rousimar Puelles at UFC 88, winning by unanimous decision. It was his first win in the UFC in over 10 years. After the bout, Henderson laughed and said, "Hopefully I don't have to wait that long before I get my next win." Henderson returned to the light heavyweight division to face former UFC middleweight champion Rich Franklin on January 17, 2009, at UFC 93 in Dublin, Ireland. Henderson won the fight via a split decision following an eye poke in the third round that many, including Franklin himself, thought was intentional. He was subsequently selected to lead Team US on Season 9 of The Ultimate Fighter, with Michael Bisping coaching the opposing Team UK. Coaching The Ultimate Fighter and Aftermath, the reality TV show, which spawned a feud between the two coaches that continued until their fight, aired on Spike TV and premiered on April 1, 2009, with the live finale on June 20, 2009 in Las Vegas. On July 11, 2009 at UFC 100 at the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas, Henderson and Bisping settled their differences with their fists, culminating with Henderson becoming the first man to knock Bisping out, doing so in the second round with an overhand right to the jaw as Bisping was circling to Henderson's right. This win put Henderson back into contention for a title shot at the UFC middleweight champion. The knockout punch also won Henderson a $100,000 bonus for knockout of the night, and is considered one of the greatest knockouts in the history of the sport. Controversy arose from the fight due to Henderson immediately following up his knockout punch with a flying forearm drop to the prone Bisping's head shortly before referee Mario Yamasaki ended the fight at 3:20. After UFC President Dana White said Henderson had made those comments in jest, Henderson clarified stating, "When you're in the heat of the moment, the ref hadn't stopped me yet, who knows what's going to happen, if he's going to recover. I really only hit him twice, once on my feet, once on the ground. I didn't keep going. I didn't go after him after the ref tried to stop me, it was nothing like that. It was a reaction of mine to keep going until I was stupid, and you know, it did feel good though." Strikeforce, Dan Henderson signed a 4-fight, 16-month deal with Strikeforce on December 5, 2009, after his contract expired with the UFC. Henderson made his Strikeforce debut on April 17, 2010 at Strikeforce on CBS against Jake Shields. He was also eyed for a light heavyweight match against Gegard Mousasi, and expressed interest in eventually fighting Fedor Emelianenko at some point during his contract. Henderson lost his Strikeforce debut to Jake Shields. Despite hurting Shields and knocking him down in the first round, Henderson went on to lose by unanimous decision. The majority of the last rounds were spent on the ground where Shields controlled the fight via grappling. Henderson faced Renato Sobral on December 4, 2010 at Strikeforce, Henderson vs. Babalu. Henderson won the fight via KO at 1:53 of the first round. Henderson defeated Rafael Cavalcanti via third-round TKO for the Strikeforce Light Heavyweight Championship at Strikeforce 32. After 2 rounds in which all 3 judges had the score tied 19-19, Henderson dropped Cavalcanti with his famed right hand in the third before referee Dan Miragliotta called the fight off at the 0:50 mark. Henderson fought Fedor Emelianenko on July 30, 2011 at Strikeforce, Fedor vs. Henderson. Many had speculated that Henderson would meet Fedor at a catchweight, but Strikeforce later confirmed the fight is a heavyweight bout. Henderson said, "It's tough for me to gain weight. I did weightlifting and plenty of eating. I don't unregistered trademark T know what else unregistered trademark M supposed to do. Unregistered trademark M not going to feel outmatched or small in there he had to step on the scales weighing at least 206 pounds in order to qualify for the heavyweight division, and weighed in at 207. Fedor weighed in a bit below his normal weight, with the scale reading 223 pounds. Henderson defeated Emelianenko via KO at 4:12 of the first round. This was the last fight on Henderson's Strikeforce contract. Henderson said he would like to re-sign to defend his Strikeforce Light Heavyweight Championship. Third UFC run. Shortly after the UFC 133 pre-fight press conference, Dana White commented on the potential to bring Henderson back to the UFC for a third go-around. OEWE unregistered trademark LLC. What happens, White said on Thursday in Philadelphia. Hendo and I have had some history in dealing. We unregistered trademark LLC if we can figure something out and get him back in the UFC. Later Henderson commented, I think the biggest fight they could promote is probably a title unification with whoever is the champ in the UFC. Henderson faced Morokaio Rua on November 19, 2011 at UFC 139 for his third run in the UFC. He won the bout via unanimous decision. The back-and-forth action earned both fighters Fight of the Night honors, and was described by many as one of the greatest fights in UFC history. UFC President Dana White announced during the post-fight press conference of UFC 145 that Henderson would be the next opponent for light heavyweight champion Jon Jones. The bout with Jones was expected to take place on September 1, 2012 at UFC 151. However, Henderson withdrew from the fight citing a knee injury, and the remainder of the fight card was cancelled. Henderson faced Lyoto Machida on February 23, 2013 at UFC 157. He lost the bout via split decision. Henderson faced Rashad Evans on June 15, 2013 in the main event at UFC 161. He lost via split decision. Henderson faced Vitor Belfort in a rematch on November 9, 2013 at UFC Fight Night 32. Henderson defeated Belfort in their first encounter in 2006 at Pride 32 via unanimous decision. He lost the fight via knockout in the first round, marking the first time in his MMA career that he had been stopped due to strikes. The match with Belfort was the last fight of Henderson's contract with UFC. On January 22, Henderson revealed to UFC Tonight that he signed a new, 6-fight contract with the UFC. In January 2014, a rematch with Morokaio Rua was announced to take place on March 23, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 38. Despite losing the first 2 rounds after being knocked down by Rua, Henderson rallied back in the third round and won the fight via TKO due to punches. The win also earned Henderson his third fight of the night bonus and first performance of the night bonus. Making a quick return to the cage, Henderson faced Daniel Cormier on May 24, 2014 at UFC 173. He lost the fight via submission in the third round. Personal life: Dan Henderson is part Welsh, Scottish, French and Native American. He grew up on a ranch in Apple Valley, California. He started wrestling at a young age and started being noticed as a relentless competitor. When he entered high school, he placed on the wrestling team with his brother Tom at Victor Valley High, which was coached by Sam Dolmier and assisted by their father Bill Henderson and Joe Barrios. Henderson has been prescribed testosterone replacement therapy after being diagnosed with low testosterone levels in 2007. Henderson was coached by Bob Anderson, of the defunct California Jets. He placed second at the California State Wrestling Championship in 1987 and Victor Valley won the team title. In 1988, he placed fifth in the state finals and several months later won national crowns in both freestyle and Greco-Roman at the Junior Nationals in Cedar Falls, Iowa. According to the March 2007 Confederated Umatilla Journal, Henderson's grandmother, Alice LeJeune, is an enrolled member of the Confederated Tribes and owns land on the Umatilla Indian Reservation. From all accounts, Henderson is 1/16 Walla Walla Native American. In the interview, Henderson commented, "Now I know I'm Walla Walla. It's refreshing to find some of those things out. I look Indian and I knew I had some, but I didn't know what tribe or exactly how much. It will be good to be able to tell my kids about their heritage." Team Quest. Dan Henderson is an owner of Team Quest Fitness Gym located in Temecula, California. As of February 28, 2011, Henderson is in litigation over the Team Quest trademark with former teammate Matt Lindland. Championships and awards: Mixed Martial Arts Record, Championship titles, filmography, references. External links, official website, official Dan Henderson MySpace, professional MMA record for Dan Henderson from Sherdog, Olympic profile at sports-reference.com, Clinch Gear, official Clinch Gear MySpace, Dan Henderson at the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Team Quest.